Camera's all good, yeah? Thank you very much. James, over to you.
Marcus, 5 wickets still to get. The forecast looking pretty grim again tomorrow. What's the feeling like in the dressing room in terms of the confidence, the belief that you can get over the line?
Well, I think it all depends on what goes on with the forecast, really. I think if we get a 4 days play, I think we'll be very confident in what we can try and do and push for a result. We weren't expecting much play today, so to get what we did was a little bit of a bonus, really. Get a bit of break in the weather, so fingers crossed overnight, and coming into tomorrow it changes a little bit and we get a few more hours in than potentially what it's looking like, but you'll have to wait and see.
We're all looking at weather apps and forecasts. What are you guys looking at?
Everything, as you can imagine. Everyone's got a different one on their phone, or there's lots of different ones on computers knocking around, and they're all pretty much saying the same thing at the moment, but we'll wait and see, won't we?
What is it saying? What's the...
Rain. Yeah, unfortunately. It was nice, the golf was on also, and you can sort of see that obviously it's on the right direction, so when the brollies went down over there, we were a little bit more hopeful you might get a bit of break in it, so if that sort of gives us a bit of an indication, we'll be following that as well tomorrow.
Pitch looks pretty flat. What are the plans in terms of the bowling if and when you do get out there?
Well, I think it's pretty obvious what we're trying to do. Without the rain being around and too much dampness around, you want the ball to try and reverse on a good pitch. There is the odd ball that's just slightly misbehaving and variation in bounce. More bowling from the Jimmy Anderson end, bowling that way. And a little bit of spin out the rough. You get the odd one that really grips out of there, which is quite important. So we'll be trying to, see what we can do with it before we get to the new ball as quick as possible, and then see how that reacts on a day 5 pitch.
Tres, we happy enough with the fact that the spinners had to bowl, and any concern that whatever play you do get tomorrow, they might make the same decision, and sort of it'd be down to Joe and Mo to do it?
Well, firstly, I thought we were sat on the balcony and we didn't think it had deteriorated that much to not allow the seamers to bowl. Obviously the umpires out in the middle deemed it was too dark, so they've got to make that decision. It didn't feel like it from where we were, but we're 50 metres, 60 metres away from the end of the pitch. So and then tomorrow, if that's what we got and that's what we're given, then that's what we'll take. Any opportunity we can get out in the middle tomorrow, we'll be grabbing with both hands. And
just a word for Joe, he likes getting his hands on the ball when the time comes, and he bagged a pretty handy wicket today.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he's a little bit of a golden arm, isn't he? He just has that ability to come in and 2 or 3 overs here, or a little spell now and again, and just sort of pick up 1 or 2 wickets, and has a good knack of doing that. I think that's always nice to have someone in your team that can do it, and he's just finds a way. He bowls the odd delivery, which really surprises people. If it's not an outswinger, it's a leg spinner or a spinner out of the rough that makes things happen.
Go Stefan and Sonia.
Marcus, we've heard Australians saying they'd be quite pleased if they were helped by the rain. What does that say about the momentum of the series, and what parallels can you draw to 2005 when you guys drew a lot of confidence by seeing the Aussies celebrate a draw here?
Well, it's a natural thing to say, isn't it? When you're trying to save a game and there's an opportunity of rain coming around, everyone's going to say the same things. Of course they will. But I think, the mindset that we've been trying to promote in our team has been all about winning and having opportunities to do the right things. And it can be a little bit dangerous if you start looking for other ways than internally in your team to stop games happening, or to not lose a game potentially, then it becomes a dangerous point. But at the end of the day, you've got to go out and earn that victory whatever way it is. So looking back to 2005, it was a pivotal point that we'd obviously had the conclusion of the game at that time before we made that judgment, and they were celebrating on the balcony. So it was a little bit easier. There's still 1 day to go. So if we get the opportunity and we can force the victory, then it might be something to look at for them.
Yeah, how much do you feel like that momentum is with you if you do have that little bit of luck with the weather and can get the job done?
I'm pretty confident with the team that if we get a decent amount of play tomorrow, then we'll be in the right position that we want to be. It's going to come down to the volume of time that we can play. If we can only play an hour like we've done today, or 2 hours like we've done today, it'll be a challenge. But if we get longer and we get 2 sessions at them, and then I think we'll be in with a good shape.
Sonia?
Marcus, it could be a case of sort of stopping and starting tomorrow. As someone who has played, how difficult is that to sort of switch on and switch off when you don't know how long you're going to be out there for and could be coming back at any point?
I think it's easier for a bowling team. I think it gives them a bit more momentum. The bowlers can put their feet up in between, especially if you're bowling seamers. If you get somebody that's really causing a lot of trouble, like Woody has been, for example, with his extra pace, he's going to get a lot more time to rest if you're coming on and off all the time. But it just breaks the momentum of your batting, your concentration can really sort of challenge you at that time. But anything we're going to get, we'll have to wait and see on tomorrow before we can make too much of a call on that.
We'll go Will, Mel, and then George and Mike.
Marcus, you only picked up 1 wicket in that 30 overs today, but it was a pretty big one in Marnus Labuschagne, who was playing so well. Without trying to sort of state the obvious, how much better is it to turn up tomorrow without having to deal with him?
Well, 1 is great. 3 or 4 would have been even better. And we know, with his current situation, how good a player he is. It's a big player out of the way. It is a decent pitch, so we've still got a decent amount of work to do. It's not going to be a case to turn up and, the ball's going to swing around with the new ball all over the place or nip about and we'll roll them over in 10 overs. I think we're going to need a bit more time and a bit more graft than potentially what we're going to do. But there's 1 less person that we have to knock over, which is important. So, really valuable the time that we've got out today, and we would have liked more, but let's see what happens tomorrow.
No.
Marcus, I was just wondering if tomorrow, no matter what's happening overhead, we might see the England team walk in wearing sunglasses.
Rolly, I remember that back at the Oval, wasn't it? But I don't know. We'll wait and see. We might need to walk out with umbrellas for most of the day, but we'll have to see what happens, really.
George?
England obviously doing loads right at the moment, but the over rate is you're losing quite a lot of overs in a tight game. That could be crucial. Is there anything that you can do?
If we bowled spin for the whole day, potentially, I think would make a big difference. It's something to be looked at, isn't it? We've got to try and someone's got to find a way to make the balance right. When it was blistering sunshine when they came off yesterday, we had to come off, and it wasn't. You're losing those overs at the end of the day, so. It's not an ideal situation, and it's for the powers to be to potentially look at how we can get the momentum right or get the timings of the day right. Teams, all teams, both teams have struggled with over rates in this game or in this series. You can always do more.
Is that something that you're talking about in the dressing room? Literally speeding up how many overs you could bowl each hour?
No, it's not come up in conversation. No.
Mike, and then we'll finish with Vish.
Trez, in 2005, it went down to the very last ball, about 20-8, I think, on the 5th evening. If need be, are you prepared to wait that long to get the job done tomorrow?
Of course we are, yeah. We'd wait till 12 o'clock tomorrow night if we could. But, the hours of the game are permitted. And obviously that's not going to be allowed to be too extended, too much. So we've just got to keep our fingers crossed, really. And keep assessing what's going on, because there's nothing we can do. We can't control what we can turn up to in the morning.
Okay, we're done. Thank you. Cheers.
Cheers.